This is Jeremy Powers. He's our current U.S. national champion. He rides for Rapha-Focus in cyclocross season, and that's what we're here to talk to him about. And in road season, he rides for Jelly Belly, powered by Kenda. So let me just get right to it here. Do you have another job, or are you a full-time bike racer?
Good morning, Cycling Illustrated from Massachusetts. I am Jeremy Powers, and I do not have another job. I am just a bike racer.
Excellent.
Yes.
You got Vegas coming up, Cross Vegas coming up on Wednesday. You got a lot of European riders coming to this race. You're going to be in the Stars and Stripes jersey. What
Yes.
can we expect from you, and what are your shots of winning?
I don't know. This is Cross Vegas is a pretty well attended race. It's the first Category 1 race of the cyclocross season all over for Europe, or actually I might be wrong in that. Anyway, it's definitely the biggest race that's going to be taking place in the United States so far, and so we have the most Europeans there. So it's always cool because our kickoff race happens to be one of our biggest races of the season. And so therefore, it's one of those ones that I put up there with wanting to win. So I have been third there a couple years ago. I was fourth last year. I've always been in the bunch kick for the win. I just haven't quite gotten it. So I don't know. It's a difference of seconds, and I'm hoping that this year I can showcase that jersey, that national champions jersey, well, and maybe land a top step. I don't know. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you, being a pro road rider, a pro cyclocross rider, I know the sports are very different.
Mm-hmm.
And which one's harder? Just from a pro bike rider standpoint, which one would you say is harder?
It's always based on resources, you know? So when someone's there to pick up your luggage and there's someone waiting there to give you a massage and hand you a bowl of food and take care of you very, very well, there's, you know, the only thing that you need to focus on is racing your bike and going to bed and waking up and racing your bike again. That's something really special, and I think that's where every pro cyclist hopes and dreams of getting to. And so with the road stuff, there are many more guys. There's a lot of resources. There's a lot of things, but there's also a lack of resources. Like, we don't have 12 massage therapists, you know, for each rider. So it's, you know, some of us have to go to dinner, then some of us have to get in the queue, then some of us have to, you know, we have to have a team meeting. There's a lot more running around in road racing, and the races are just longer. You know, you're gone for sometimes like a tour of Qinghai Lakes in China. You know, you're gone for 2.5 weeks straight up in the Tibetan highlands of China. So those are long trips. You know, in cyclocross, it's much more one-on-one. You know, I have my own mechanic. We have a bunch of helpers running around doing different things, cooking, getting food for us, grabbing our tickets, you know, all types of stuff. So there's a lot more attention to detail given to on my cross team. And with road, it's just they're a little bit harder. And truthfully, for me, the races just don't suit me as well. So So I'm much better at cross rider, and I always tell everyone that's ever asked, just do what you're good at. You know, if you're a good cross rider, if you're a good time trials, if you're a good track rider, do what you're good at, because the sport is not easy, and it's
Well, you're a pretty damn good road cyclist too. But
thanks.
how do you train for these things? I mean, it's not like you can just go outside and ride and pick up your bike and start running through a field or something to jump over things. Is this kind of just, I mean, how do you train for it?
Many years. I started out when I was young. So like, yeah, it's you know, if you grew up in a house watching your dad go to work doing whatever, or your mom doing whatever, you would know, okay, I'm probably pretty good at that because you learned that, right? Well, when I was 12 or 13 living in New England, this is what everyone did in the wintertime, was cross. And while that is now a long time ago, 15 years ago, you know, you slowly learn and pick things up year after year. So it was very much second nature to me. You know, when I was 16, 17 years old, it was like, oh, mountain bike season's over. Well, this is when we go race cyclocross. And so in terms of like, how did I learn it? You know, that was from those older riders like Tom Masterson, Adam Meyerson, Paul Curley. There were a lot of guys that were in this area that had been racing and had gone to Europe and had learned a ton. And they brought that stuff back, and we ended up, basically all of us, a bunch of juniors, just ended up learning it. And I quickly learned that it was something for me. It was very short, intense efforts, and I've always had a nice motor geared towards really strong, fast accelerations and stuff like that. So right from the get-go, it was always something that interested me and I had a lot of fun with, and I was able to pay attention for the amount of time that the race course was. So that's one of my big problems is when I'm in a 4 or 5 hour point-to-point road race, I'm like, man, this is beautiful out here. Oh, there goes the attack.
Yeah, a little bit different.
Yeah.
You rode for Cannondale 2 years ago, and you had some great accolades riding from them, and you also had a little friendly competition between this guy named Tim Johnson. I guess he goes by Cross Clash. Can you tell me a little bit about your relationship with him and what that competition was like?
Well, Timmy J is a good friend of mine, but we were teammates. So Cross Clash is actually something that Rapha started, and we tend to hold that very, very high up in the Twitter hashtags. So we say anytime that like a rider or me or Ryan Trebon or Tim Johnson or something like that kind of want to say something, I would say cocky or snarky to another rider, we just follow it up with a Cross Clash, and that kind of makes the insinuation like, hey, I know I'm being a jerk, but this is just a nice jab at you. So that's where Cross Clash comes from. Like, oh, hey, dude, you flatted, nice excuse. so Cross Clash. So that's kind of how it goes. But again, it was a nice time to be racing with Tim, and Stu Thorne was the owner of cyclocrossworld.com. And those guys gave me my first opportunity to race cyclocross at that high level, and really gave me a lot of resources to be able to do so, and accommodations and mechanics and all that stuff. So I owe those guys a lot. They're good friends of mine still, and they run a great program.
Cool. What is your season going to look like this year? I mean, what are your goals?
The World Championships in Louisville. That's my number one goal this year. If I could win nationals again, that would be a runner-up to the World Championships. I'm hoping that they can go hand in hand, like one leads into the next well. But I will be doing some World Cups, and my goal is to get a better ride. Last year, my best ride at the World Cup was 10th, and I hope to try to improve on that. I've been training every year, again, when you're a pro, and it's the only thing you do, every year you make small adjustments, 1% here, 1% there, train a little bit differently here where you felt you lacked, and be able to analyze your mistakes and where you're not good. And so I've just been constantly doing that, and really just trying to focus on everything that I can to be the best that I can be in. And that's I hope that turns into a better place at the World Cup level. So.
Yeah. Well, you have a great personality, I can tell right now, and you definitely passionate. So I love talking to you. Optum Pro Cycling.
Sure.
And Kelly Benefit Strategies just announced their new cross team for 12 and 13. What kind of edge do they bring to the sport? I mean, they're a big, powerful team, lots of resources. What do you think about that?
They're awesome. I love Jonas and Kelly Benefits. They run a great program. They're very good guys. I actually, when I turned pro with Jelly Belly in 2004, it's a long time ago. So when that happened, Jonas was on the team, and Jonas and Alex Candelario taught me a ton about racing and how to race and how to not break in corners and how to carry momentum. I mean, I remember so much from that first year racing with those guys, and that's who now kind of heads up Kelly Benefits. So I like those guys a lot, and them coming to cyclocross, I think this year is going to be a very light year for them in terms of what they are doing with the program. I think that they're gonna learn a lot in this first year, because there's a lot to learn. Cross is not road racing, and even though everyone thinks it's on the road you only need one mechanic for 6 guys, it doesn't work like that in cyclocross. It's there's so many things that need to happen before you can get a breadwinner or a race winner. It's very, very much attention to detail in cyclocross, and the smallest misadjustment on a front derailleur leads to a dropped chain, which leads to a missed race win. It's very, very much attention to detail, and people need to be held accountable. Road racing, if something goes wrong, you grab a new bike and the Peloton maybe waits, or you get back onto the cars and then cross. It's much, much faster and things happen so much quicker. So I think I'm excited because it's another program and another team that will be able to be in the mix. And I think that they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. And it's just awesome to see the sport grow and continue to grow like this. So kudos to them for coming on.
Yeah, but like you said, maybe now you can give them some tips as there's a lot more to prepare for.
No, I think it's a great thing too. Just to add one thing to that is they're going to be able to keep guys on the road to cross, and I think that's something that I did for a long time with Jelly Belly, and it's really good for a good road racer. There is a person that should be out there that should be able to do a couple of months at the end of their road season and then transition into cross and be one of the best guys in the world. I mean, that's what you need. You need to start racing like some nice easy miles in like June, and then a little bit more in July, and then ramp it up with a little bit, just maybe one good stage race in August, and then come into the cross season. That's a cyclocrosser's like perfect season. I start racing in April, and then I have to take a break in July, and then I start building again. So my perfect build-up, in essence, would be that little bit in June, nice July, quite a bit in August, and then nice right into cyclocross.
So you're really fit right now.
I'm decently fit, yes. I would say I'm not coming in overcooked. Let's put it that way. There's a long year till February, so you got to be really conscious of how much your energy you're expending in either getting fit or workouts you're doing now. Because there's a long time to go.
But you're going to Sin City, buddy, so you got to win.
Yeah, we're trying.
Under the lights. Let's talk about you for just a little bit. What is the Jam Fund?
The Jam Fund. The Jam Fund is actually stands for Jeremy, Alec, and Mukunda, who are two guys that in 2002 I was racing mountain bikes, and then in 2003 I got mononucleosis, which was my first year of college. It was a thing. Anyway, I moved up to Western Massachusetts to go to college at Westfield State. And I moved in with these two guys who were local Cat 1s in the area, Al and Mukunda. And those are the guys that basically taught me how to race road bikes. I went from I technically was racing as a 3, but it was only because I stole Andy Guptill his Category 3 sticker, and I put it on my road license. So eventually USA Cycling caught on to that, and I had to go back to the 5. So that year I went from 5 to a 4 to a 3, and then I made it up to a 2. And then that next year I got on Jelly Belly. So it was cool. Those guys have been good friends of mine, and we lived together for a long time, and we've done a ton in this area for the cycling community and just tried to participate as much as we can. And so the Jam Fund is essentially basically a stockpile of money and resources and equipment that we created to help up-and-coming cyclists in the New England area, continue and kind of follow their passions. So it's an expensive sport, and I know that. Everyone knows that. It's not, you don't just go buy a set of running shoes for this.
Tell me this too. I guess you're a DJ?
Yeah, we do some DJing. I gotta blow the dust off of them this month. I haven't touched them in probably a month or a month and a half. I literally have had been focused. I've been just trying to ride and my legs up when I should be, and not standing up too much and doing too much. I did some cross camps. I did 3 cross camps and I did a training camp at altitude. So I've been staying busy, but really trying to stay focused on the job at hand here.
Well, let me talk to you about that for a minute. You have these camps, and I was reading somewhere that your known ability is to jump cyclocross barriers.
I do. I've jumped quite a few barriers, yes.
What does that mean exactly for somebody just kind of getting into the sport?
Yep. So cross was started as a way to for road cyclists back in Europe to stay fit in the winter. And the one thing that they noticed being, if you've been to Europe or if you've been racing in Belgium, you know that this is such a Euro thing. Like, well, how will we keep our feet warm in the winter? I have an idea. We'll get off and run. And so that's a cross literally, supposedly, kind of was at least that was at least the mentality behind it for a moment. They also say that it started out with like a postman running during the war with his bike. I don't know. There's a whole bunch of theories, but I know that one is true. The one where they got off and ran to keep their feet warm in the winter as road cyclists. So we run over barricades, and sometimes if you're very good, you can jump them. There's a lot of risk involved in jumping one of those. Even if you're good and you feel confident and you're like, oh man, because not a lot of guys are doing that. Maybe 3-4 guys are doing barrier jumping. You gotta pick your risks. You gotta really, it's calculated mayhem. Like if you crash, you can see some pretty good bunny hop crash videos, and you can definitely smash. I've smashed my my shoulder, and just you can get messed up pretty good in jumping barriers.
But your legs are tired too, so.
Yeah, when you got no blood in your arms, that's a bad combination.
Cool. Well, I've appreciated you talking to us today. I won't take any more of your time. Do you have anything else you want to add, Jeremy?
No, thank you very much, Cycling Illustrated. I appreciate your guys' time as well. Thank you.
I will see you at Cross Vegas. I'll come and give you a hug. You just seem like
awesome.
That kind of a guy, and we'll be following you all year, and I appreciate your time.
Great. Thanks very much. Looking forward to checking back in. Have a good one.
See ya.